Mahesh,
Punch.
Mahesh, it's piney to hear your kirtan. Om Jnana Timirandasya Vinanjana Salakaya Chakshurumilekandena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Kavekam Prabhu Nityananda Jayādvaita Bhagavatam Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Paripajaka Sarjashto Shri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kundagiri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Gangamai Ki Jai Shamanamai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Maharaj, and thank you to your Kirtan band. And welcome everyone to Srimad Bhagavatam class with His Holiness Jayādvaita Swami. It is Wednesday, November 9th, 2022, and a day later in India. And we're reading in the third canto, 9th chapter, Brahma's Prayers for Creative Energy. We're starting with verse number 31 tonight, and very much eager to hear everyone's questions and comments, and also very happy that you could be with us again, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Akendra Prabhu, and thank you to all. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tata Atmani Lokecha Bhakti Yukta Samahitaha Drashtasi Mam Tatam Brahman Mai Lokam Svamatmanaha. O Brahma, when you are absorbed in devotional service in the course of your creative activities, you will see me in you and throughout the universe, and you will see that you yourself, the universe, and the living entities are all in me. Purport. It is cited you would appreciate how the Lord expanded himself into all the calves during his childhood at Vrindavan. You would know how Yashodamai saw all the universes and planetary systems within the mouth of Krishna during his playful childhood pastimes. And he would also see that there are many millions of Brahmas during the appearance of Lord Krishna in Brahma's daytime. But all these manifestations of the Lord appearing everywhere in his eternal transcendental forms cannot be understood by anyone but the pure devotees who are always engaged in devotional service to the Lord and are fully absorbed in the Lord. The high qualifications of Brahma are also indicated herein. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurn Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupakodat Mahyam Tadhati Shapadantikam Vandehang Shri Guru Shri Jatapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatan Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savatutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padang Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kamshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Puri Priye Vansha Kalpavrutyascha Kripa Sindhobhyevacha Petita Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Lord Brahma has asked, how will I be able to create the cosmic manifestation? How will I be able to manifest the whole show as it was previously? And how will I be able to do this without being entangled in material illusion? And in these verses, Lord Krishna is replying that by your concentration, mentioned in the previous verse, by your focusing in devotional service, Atmani loke cha bhakti yukta samahita drastasi. By being absorbed in devotional service, bhakti yukta samahita, you'll see everything within me. Tata atmani loke cha, you'll see everything within yourself. It will all be revealed to you. What is that? Didami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayanti te. It'll be revealed. You'll see everything within yourself. And mam tatam Brahman. Oh, Brahma, you'll see everything existing within me. And you'll see you'll see me within you and me within everything, or everything within me. I'm not, I'm probably, what's the word? Finessing the grammar here a bit, but all of these things are, you'll see everything with me and me within everything. In the Bhagavad Gita, Punarmoham evam yasasi Pandava. What is that? 435.
Yajgatva na punarmoham.
Yajgatva na punarmoham evam yasasi Pandava. Yena bhutanya sheshani drakshasyatman yatomai. When you've approached a bona fide spiritual master and heard the truth, yajgatva, understanding everything as it is, anapunar moham yasyasi, you'll not fall into illusion again, don't worry. Napunar moham evam, you won't fall into this kind of illusion again. Then, no, before that, yena bhutanya shesha, you'll see that everything is within the absolute truth, or within me. Yena bhutanya sheshani drakshasyatmani yatomai. You'll see that everything's within me. In Isha Upanishad, Yasmin Sarvani Bhutani Atmanyeva Nupashyati Sarva Bhuteshu Chatman Tato Navijagutsate Vabhud Vitanata Tatriko Mahakasho Kahekatam Anupashyata. You'll see the same purport, you'll see everything within me, within the supreme absolute truth, within the personality of Godhead. So when Krishna is everywhere, when Krishna is everything, what will be the difficulty? There's also the acharyas have seen what shall we say, a deeper meaning or a more elaborated rasic meaning that you'll see Vrindavan. You'll see Yashodamai. First of all, you'll see this point illustrated because you'll see that Yashodamai will look into the mouth of Krishna and she'll see all the universes there. That's how everything's set up. Everything's within the mouth of Krishna. You'll see that. As Yashodamai saw that. And you'll see all the activities of Krishna in Vrindavan. You'll see Krishna everywhere. You'll steal the cows and calves and cowherd boys, and then you'll come back and you'll see Krishna, and he'll expand himself again as all the calves and cows and cowherd boys. And not only that, but everything, all the living beings will be dancing in glorification of the personality of Godhead. You'll see that. You'll see so many Brahmas. That also you'll see. That's recounted in Chaitanya Charitamrita. You'll go knocking on Krishna's door, and when the servant asks which Brahma, then you'll go to Krishna and say, "What is this which Brahma?" I'll show you. You'll see so many Brahmas during your daytime, not that one Brahma, then the next, and the next, and the next. All the Brahmas. So many are there. So all of these things you'll see. Bhaktya, Bhakti Yukta Samahita, is that it? Bhakti Yukta Samahita, because you'll be absorbed in devotional service, you'll be able to see these things. Otherwise, Naham Prakasha Sarvasya, Yogamaya Samahita. Bhaktyam Mama Vijanati. Only by devotional service can one understand these things. Without devotional service, you won't be able to do anything. You won't be able to create the universe right. You'll be overcome by pride and illusion. Everything will go wrong. But if you remain fixed in devotional service, then everything will be okay. Yes.
I find this purport a little interesting because as you kind of mentioned, Maharaj,
Prabhupada seems to jump right to the quote-unquote Rasika aspect of it very personally with Lord Brahma.
Mm.
He says, this is what Brahma's going to experience in most directly, in his own
Yes.
experience. The other question I had, Maharaj, was about Brahma. We at least I've heard that Brahmas in some other universes, they aren't like pure devotees. But they may not necessarily.
Where did you hear this from?
I'm trying to remember where I heard it.
I've also heard that.
Yeah.
Our Brahmas are pure devotees, and
But I wonder how they can make the creation without that kind of connection with Krishna.
How can you be Brahma without being a devotee? I don't know any reference.
I'll see if I can find it.
I don't think it says not a devotee, it says not a pure devotee.
It may be that.
And this term gets sort of what's the word? Has some flexibility to it. Pure devotee. Sometimes Brahmas he's a pure devotee, sometimes he's a devotee. This pure devotee term is sort of selectively applied or contextually applied. From our point of view, every devotee is a pure devotee. From our position, anyone else can be a pure devotee. Tulsi Priya, I was wondering if we are to take these instructions to be universally applicable. There are so many derivative creative endeavors undertaken by the living entities in the material world. We usually associate creativity with artistic pursuits, but virtually every human enterprise is creative. Can we aspiring devotees see ourselves as tiny Brahmas in our even tinier universes, working in the separation, in the expectation or hope of seeing Krishna in our individual God projects, and these projects as being part of him, if we endeavor to create in devotional service? Well, that's the point, isn't it? Why is this? What do we care about Brahma and how he creates the universe? What's it to us? We're not going to create any planets around here. So why are we even interested in hearing these things? There's a word in psychology. The meaning is trans. I think I've got the wrong term, but it's like transcontextual search. We hear about something, whatever, we hear about Indra becoming a pig, or we hear about anything else, any other story told in the Bhagavatam. And then, well, what are we supposed to make of it? We're supposed to apply it to our own context. Otherwise, it's just an interesting story. Oh, Indra became a pig. That's okay. But what's it mean to us? And we have to apply and say, how am I like Indra? How am I like Indra? And then the story has spiritual impact, spiritual value. Otherwise, it's just a story, like a child's story. And even the children's stories are meant to have some sort of transderivational search. That's the term. We're supposed to look at the story and say, what can I learn from this? So yes, it's relevant for us. How are we supposed to, that we should be bhakti yukta samahita. We should be absorbed in devotional service. We should see that Krishna is within everything, that everything's within Krishna. Yes. And then we also won't be entangled. Yes, Mr. Sarvani Bhutani. Atman Yevani Bhutani. So, yes. Thank you for the question. Saraswati.
Thank you.
Brahma received, thank you. Brahma received relevant knowledge, received knowledge of the future, including the guarantee of the secure position as, of his secure position as devotee, which ordinarily conditioned souls don't obtain. Yes, everyone gets the Aham Tvam Sarvapapebhyo Mokshishyami. Krishna is not just speaking to Arjuna. Again, it's transderivational search or contextual search. What do we care about Bhagavad Gita? Krishna's telling Arjuna, you have nothing to worry about. You'll be freed from material existence. He's telling Arjuna all these things, but we're meant to understand it in reference to ourselves. That if I surrender to Krishna, I'll also be freed from material existence. I also will have no need to worry. So all of these instructions are meant to, at least not all, not that we have to kill Bhishma, we have to kill Drona, not literally that, but we have to do something like that. We have to do the things that we may not like to do, that are contrary to our bodily, what we perceive as our bodily, or as our obligations and our duties and this and that. We may have to act contrary to all that for the service of Krishna. So we have to transfer the context of Kurukshetra to the context of our own lives, or here the context of Brahma's perplexity sitting on the lotus, to our own perplexity sitting wherever we are. Anything else? Kendra Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. I was thinking how much this verse under discussion here reminds me of Yomam Pashyati Sarvatra Sarvam Chamai Pashyati. You see me in everything, everything in me, and how different that vision is from mundane vision, where you see things in the world and you think, well, this is mine potentially to enjoy. You don't see it the way that the Lord is describing it to Brahma, is that I'm going to be appearing everywhere, and the whole program is just to get the living entities out of this world. You see things, your own mundane way. It's so unfortunate.
Yes. Okay, it's my internet connection that's doing that. Let's hope it improves a little. Yomam Pashyati Sarvatra Sarvam Pashyati Sarvam Chamai Pashyati Tasyaham Na Pranashami Sachame Na Pranashati. Yes. Thank you for that. Anything else? Okay. Yadatu sarva bhuteshu sarushvagnim ivastitam prati chakshitadmam loko jayat. Is that prati chakshita? Yeah, I guess it is.
Yeah.
Prati chakshita mam loko jayatar yeva kashmanam. You will see me in all living entities, as well as all over the universe, just as fire is situated in wood. Only in that state of transcendental vision will you be able to be free from all kinds of illusion. Purport: Brahma prayed that he might not forget his eternal relationship with the Lord during the course of his material activities. In answer to that prayer, the Lord said that he should not think of existing without a relationship with his omnipotency. The example is given of the fire in wood. Fire kindled in wood is always the same, although the wood may be of different types. Similarly, the bodies within the material creation may be specifically different according to shape and quality, but the spirit souls within them are not different from one another. Quality of fire, warmth, is the same everywhere, and the spiritual spark, or part and parcel of the Supreme Spirit, is the same in every living being. Thus, the potency of the Lord is distributed all over his creation. This transcendental knowledge alone can save one from the contamination of material illusion. Since the Lord's potency is distributed everywhere, a pure soul or devotee of the Lord can see everything in relationship with the Lord, and therefore he has no affection for the outer coverings. That pure spiritual conception makes him immune to all contamination of material association. The pure devotee never forgets the touch of the Lord in all circumstances. The Kutastva Kashmalamidam Vishame Tamupastitam. How is this Kashmala contamination? How is this contamination of sinful life or illusion come upon you? Kutastva Kashmalamidam. So here, the same thing. Jayādvaita Kashmala. You should give up this contaminated view. How will that be possible? Patichakshitam amlokam. You should see me everywhere. You're thinking, I have to create the demons, I have to create the demigods, I have to create this, I have to create that, and suitable planets for all of these different living entities. So I'm going to get entangled in the modes of nature. No, it's all the same. If you're the government, you're going to create a college, you're going to create a prison, but you're not going to get contaminated. It's all the same. It's all government business. You're not going to get a PhD by funding the university. You're not going to go to jail by funding the prison. You just have to perform your prescribed duties and see this is all state business. So this is all, so from one point of view, this is all Krishna's business. And then all the living entities, they're all the same. They're just you're going to have to cover them with different bodies, but they're all spirit souls. They're all part and parcel of me. And I'm present everywhere. I'm present within the living beings, or I'm present as the living beings. The living beings are also manifestations of Krishna. Their bodies are also manifestations of Krishna. Vasudeva Sarvamiti. And you're not going to be dealing with anything but me. So see me everywhere. That's called Krishna consciousness. Yomam Pashyati Sarvatra Sarvam Shamai Pashyati. See me within everything. See everything within me. Tasyaham na pranashyami. Sachame na pranashyati. And then you'll never lose touch with me. Yiratu sarvabhuteshu darushvagnim ivastita. as fire is situated within wood, I'm situated within everything. And it's just a question of vision. How are we going to get a fire? I don't know. There's no fire around here. But if you know that fire is situated within wood, then you just have to know how the little science, how to derive that fire, and you'll have plenty of fire. Or probably gives the example of electricity. The electricity is here. We're all on the grid. There's plenty of electricity, but you need an electrician who comes in and says, "Okay, we're going to put a plug here and a plug there, a socket here, a socket there, and you put your plug in the socket, and you're connected." That's also, therefore, tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashna. One has to approach the expert spiritual master who can connect us with Krishna. Otherwise, Krishna is everywhere. And why don't we see Krishna? If Krishna is everywhere, then why aren't we seeing? Some probably the cataract is there. Gyananjana Shalaka, with the torchlight of knowledge, we have to change our vision so that we can see, yes, Krishna is here.
I had a couple of nice thoughts. One, when you quoted Kutasva Krishmalamidam, you quoted that a couple of days ago, just a few verses back. Brahma had a similar Kashmalam, and that verse came to your mind. And at that time, Krishna said, situate yourself in penance and meditation. And then now a few verses later, we see, what is this penance and meditation? So that you see me everywhere. That's the purpose of it. And that's sort of the Kashmala. And in that context, when my father and I were memorizing Dhruva Stuti, there was Ekastameva Bhagavanidam Atma Shaktya. The last line of that verse says, Dadushubi Bhavasuvat Vibhasi. That you see Krishna everywhere burning like in fire, as the flames and wood appear differently according to the shape and style of the wood. And in that purport, Prabhupada mentions that the seeing Krishna everywhere doesn't make him void and impersonal. You see that, in each place that he is, he's burning in a great variety according to in the material creation. And I just thought that's what a beautiful image, that Prabhupada was directly pointing out the effulgence, the brightness of Krishna's burning separately in these different forms. And that just, totally. Also, fire removes impurities, all these kashmala. So just all of that came together very beautifully in my head, thanks to your mentioning that last time, a couple of days ago.
Fire purifies. Fire is there in all the different forms and shapes. A less fiery example probably gives is that butter is there within milk.
Mm-hmm.
It's there. You just have to know how to extract it. Question of vision. Thank you. Something else? Yes, possibly.
Yes, Maharaj, I was just working on a verse from the Kathopanishad, and I'll just put it in front of you, so maybe some thought will come from your side. It said that Esha Sarvesha Bhuteshu, the Supreme Self, is Guda Atma, is hidden in all living beings. So like the fire and wood, I guess. But he's Drishyate tu Agreya Buddhya. He is seen by one-pointed intelligence, which is Sukshmaya, which is fine. One-pointed fine intelligence. Sukshma Darshividi, by those who can see subtle things. So these qualities are the Agraya. Agra means one-pointed, and Sukshma, which is fine or subtle.
Yeah, Eke Hakurunandana. Vyavasayatmika buddhi, ekeha kurunani. Even that, like a gun sight, it focuses your vision. Otherwise, your vision's all over the place. You can't see the target. But the gun sight focuses your vision. So that one-pointed vision, then you can hit the target. The examples there, Dronacharya and Arjuna, one-pointed vision. And sukshma tada vigyayam, the absolute truth is subtle. Avigyaya, not knowable by material means. So if you want to see the sukshma, you have to be sukshma. Your intelligence has to be sukshma. The gross, you're just like music. If you're listening to Bach or you're listening to some sophisticated Indian classical music, you have to have a finer appreciation, or you really won't catch what's going on there. You may say, "Well, I like that nice music. It's really sweet." But if you really want to capture the effect, as Prabhupada sometimes says in another context, then you have to have some finer appreciation, finer knowledge of what the composer is doing there, or what the musician is doing there. Without that, yeah, I guess it's nice. A person with finer sensibilities can appreciate it. So we want to appreciate the person who's finer than the finest, sukshma tattva vigyaya. So then finer intelligence. Yes.
I have a practical example of this from our reading yesterday. When you mentioned agra, I was thinking, I heard this word, and I thought agra puja. Sahadev had that finer sukshma when we're picking who should be worshipped first. Everyone, this person, that person. This, Krishna. He's right here. This is the person that should be worshipped first. Agra sukshma.
Yes, you can always understand something with the opposites of the Sukshma Buddhi and the Stula Buddhi. Like the girls, this is represented by Bhaktivinoda Thakur says by Dhenukasura. It's the girl, the ass, the gross intelligence. So I guess that refers to this intelligence absorbed in eating, sleeping, mating.
What was the point when you see
Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavrita muto yam nabijanati. If you're an ass, you're not going to understand me. I'm not visible to the asses. Even you want to see some big man, he's not available to the, every truck driver and, ordinary person. He's available to people on the upper echelon of business or academia or whatever his field is. He's not available to just anybody who says, I want to see Nelson Rockefeller. Is he available? He's probably dead by now. In fact, he is dead. But, he's been dead for a long time, in fact. But if we want to see some big man, whoever Ambani or whoever is a big man these days, then some qualification is there. Muto yam nabija, I'm not visible to anyone and everyone. So Krishna also, not generally available, but available to the devotees. And Ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya mayiteshu shapyan.
Well, what was the point? You can understand Sukshma Buddhi by looking at Stula Buddhi? What was the point?
By understanding the opposite, you can understand the positive by understanding the negative.
I see. So that's why you say, you can't. No, a truck driver can know him, but so who can? So then you
you can understand the positive. understand white by black, you can understand,
I see.
yeah, up, to correlative of down. So, Stula Buddhi and Sukshma Buddhi, gross intelligence and subtle intelligence. Even there's a scientific journal, what are they called? It's a parapsychological journal, it's called Subtle Energies, because they recognize that they're dealing with something that's not just your ordinary chairs and tables. It's not just ordinary measurements of common everyday things. We're dealing with something spooky here, something out of the ordinary, something subtle, And of course, their gross materialistic scientific counterparts say, it's all unprofessional, blah, 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 because they're not subtle. And they're not open to the idea that there's something more subtle than what's in their common experience. There's more to heaven and earth than is known in your philosophy. That they don't, they're just not even open to that idea. They're highly resistant to it. So then they're not going to see it. They're going to see gross matter because that's, for them, what matter is. There's nothing but grossness. So even subtle material things they're not going to see.
Then you have this category, unfortunately, of persons who claim to know those subtle things, have access to these subtle things, but are just kind of imposing.
Say that again.
You have a category of persons who claim to know things, subtle things like, subtle
astrologers
energies.
and mystics and palm readers. Sure, we have all sorts of people who exploit an interest in subtle energies, but that doesn't mean that subtle energies don't exist. Misuse does not invalidate proper use, or so there are subtle realities. Even what's now accepted as mainstream in many instances was just spooky stuff, and gradually over time, and of course scientists will point to the glories of their scientific method. Yes, now we accept it because it's properly demonstrated. All right, going along with that for now. But the point is that you thought it was just something spooky, something, and then by greater understanding, you came to see that this subtle stuff was real. X-rays, cosmic radiation, so many things that were regarded as just being sort of strange hypothetical notions are now mainstream. So similarly, there's more out there. It's not that we've exhausted the realm of subtle energy and there's nothing left. And we're just talking now about material subtle energies. What science can perceive. But for those who are, isn't there a verse, subtle beyond the subtle? I think there's something like that.
Anoraniyam.
Anoraniyam hato mahiya. Greater than the greatest, smaller than the smallest.
Yeah, Anu means also subtle, sukshma. Anu also means sukshma.
Anur means sukshma.
Yeah.
So he's more subtle than the subtle. Yeah, fine. Anur is like small, fine distinctions, fine gradations, fine granulations. So Krishna is more subtle than the subtle. There's Udhira Bhumirapo nalo vayu kamano buddhireva cha angaratiyame vinna prakrtirashtrida. Gross energies, then subtle energies, then parayamitastvanyam prakritim pitime pram, then the soul, which is more subtle. And then the personality of Godhead is the most subtle. That's another example, like a subtle joke. Person who doesn't have a subtle wit won't understand it. It just goes right by him. But if you have appreciation, you'll catch the joke. A gross joke, a vaudeville act or something, and any Tom, Dick, or Harry can catch it. But a subtle joke, it goes right past everyone in the room except for one or two or a few people who catch it.
I feel like that was the joke you shared yesterday, Maharaj, from Prabhupada. Yeah, but Chakravarti is not taking salary. And that's really funny, actually, if you think about it.
Yeah, it requires a certain kind of appreciation. Not everyone will get it. So subtle to perceive that which is subtle. Even in earth, we can perceive with all of our senses. You can see it, you can knock on it, you can smell it. Air, you can't see it, you can't taste it, can't smell it. It's more subtle, it requires and not open to any kind of perception. Then you get to mind, then you get to intelligence, then you get to Valsika, then you get to the soul. Sarshati, we understand that as spirit souls, we are all of the same quality and have this vision of seeing all entities as part of Krishna. But in practice, it's hard to maintain neutrality when we see the evil, obnoxious actions of souls. Because even the Pandavas and Draupadi had strong negative feelings for Duryodhana and his accomplices. Yes, in one sense, we're meant to have a dual vision. We see the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead. We also see where things stand materially. We see no difference between a friend and a scorpion. They're both spirit souls, but we don't go looking to pick up scorpions. We don't embrace a tiger, even though we see there's no difference between a tiger and a human being. So that both visions are meant to be there. Unless you're on the super ultra Paramhamsa, Uttamadhikari, way up there kind of platform where you really don't see Shukadev Goswami. He didn't notice a difference between the men and women. It was just not part of his vision. Very high position. Even Vyasadeva wasn't on that level. So those who are on that platform, they may make no distinctions. Those saintly persons who are otherwise, for practical affairs, we need to make a distinction. The Avadhutas may not, but we need to make practical distinctions. Otherwise, we become like the Mayavadis also, who are clueless, especially what would you say, popular Mayavad, where everything is one, and it's just so patently foolish. that Giriraj Maharaj famously said to someone in Boston Commons, who was everything is one wallet, then there's no difference between my wallet and your wallet. So you can give me your wallet.
Or he told the story recently in Balaram Hall that in India, when he was with Prabhupada, he told him there's no difference. The guy gave the example of thread and the whole blanket. And Giriraj Maharaj said, okay, give me your blanket. And he said, oh, I slept so well that night. We were all so cold. And this guy came before me and he said, you've defeated me. And Giriraj Maharaj said, no, my spiritual master has you go surrender to him. And it was a sweet story.
Yeah, there's no difference between the thread and the blanket. So the popular sort of drugstore variety Mayavad, so and then it gets extended to like there's no difference between men and women. Everything's just whatever you think you are, that's what you are, and everything's one really ultimately. And if we're making distinctions, oh, I'm sorry, I came over me, that I made a distinction because everything is one. It's just a wacko worldview. There's especially if we're not on that platform, if you're really on that platform, that's another story. But who is? So there's oneness and there's difference. Only difference, that's just gross vision. And only oneness, that's another kind of gross vision. All you can see is one, you can't see two. If I'm seeing, that means there's two. There's me and there's what I'm seeing. So where's your oneness? So here Brahma is getting the right understanding of oneness. You'll see me everywhere. You'll see everything within me. And you'll be able to create all these varieties by my blessing. You'll be Krishna conscious, so you won't be Tatrako Mahakashoke Katam Manupasha. When you see everything everything in me, then you have no worry, no anxiety, no illusion. Shrakshasyatmanitomai. All right, we're at the end of our hour, just about.
Should I tag team with Panchatattva?
Okay, Radhesh, I can tag team with Panchatattva.
On your request.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paripradhakacharya Shri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrind ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Mukund Radha Kunigiri Govardhan ki jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Navadvip Dham ki jai. Jagannath Puri ki jai. Ganga Mai ki jai. Jamana Mai ki jai. Tulsi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Maharaj. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. And thank you everyone for joining us. Srimad Bhagavatam ki
All right,
jai.
we're jumping into our morning program.
Yes. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jayādvaita Maharaj ki jai.
Thank you, Gurudev.
All right.
Gurudev ki jai.